Next is from Dale Fortunio. Subject is Tell Me Lies. Hey gang, straightforward question. Tony Khan's life is really in danger at Wembley. There could be potential or looming litigations. Then why would Endeavor sign Punk to a contract? Bonus. Why on earth does Creed get a bad rep? Same goes for Limp Bizkit. Yeah, Creed does get a bad rep. I'm a fan of Creed. I'm a fan of Limp Bizkit too. There's a good collection of songs on the Chocolate Starfish album where 4 or 5 songs in a row are really good gym music, right?
Double disc too.
Yeah. And also there's not. Well, they signed Punk. I guess there's not going to be any litigation from the Tony Khan Punk stuff. He was just. Is there litigation?
If anything, he would have to sue for wrongful termination or something, right? Or Tony, what would Tony sue him for? You can't sue someone unless you're injured. He wasn't injured. You know?
Well, sue for physically assaulting him though.
But there's no injury. He wasn't hurt.
No, I think what happened was I don't think he ever physically assaulted him. I think he might have said, "Hey, I'll fuck you up" or some shit like that. Okay, and that's when he said, "Oh, I'm afraid for my life." But I don't think I don't remember the whole story, and it was told to me. But I think that something had just happened. Oh, I think he just fought with that Jack Perry guy or whatever. What happened with him and Jack? Do you remember, Joe?
They got into a skirmish. I guess Punk had him in a headlock or a front face.
And it was right before, and I imagine this, Disco. You know how like right before the match you're trying to concentrate, right? Get ready for the match, going over your head, and this guy gets in your face or whatever, you know, and right before you go out, and he probably might have told Tony, "Hey, I'm gonna," whatever he told Tony felt threatened. You know what I'm saying? But
and Joe had to convince him to go out and have the match. But one thing that we missed there, and I was going to tie in, is that when Punk and Jungle Boy were grappling around or whatever, either Punk hit a table and knocked the monitors off into Tony's lap, or the monitors hit Tony somehow, right? So if you're Tony Khan, he doesn't look like he's been in too many fights or been threatened physically.
Neither do you.
Yeah, but you know, I used to get beaten from the nuns. But so if you're Tony and you've never been in that situation, a big wrestler, maybe he pushed a monitor at you or something, that seems threatening, I guess. You know?
Well, let me just say this, Joe. I hope the nuns you. But let me tell you something.
That was the
Creed
priest.
and the Creed and Nickelback and Limp Bizkit and all that, bro. They were, you know, when me and Disco were running around town, those guys were huge. And really, what happened was like the corporate owned radio stations at that time. That's all they were playing, like Limp Bizkit, you know, Nickelback, Kid Rock, and all that. And they weren't. And at that time, there was a thriving, like indie emo rock thing, and they wouldn't use like female singers. So there was a big backlash against them, which it should have been the corporations. Plus, Fred Durst was getting into a lot of fights, like you know, threatening guys. I remember he had one with the guy from Creed.
Yeah,
said he was going to out of him. And then he got into, you know, and it was a bad look. You know what I'm saying? And they weren't playing all those groups that they were playing before, like Soundgarden and, you know, Nirvana. Even though at that time grunge was kind of losing, so they get a lot of heat for that.
Right.
Creed is on tour, reunion tour next year. Di, maybe Madden will come out to Vegas for it. You know, you guys go to the show.